the Lissandra by Froggy, so
Yeah.
just coming out as a blind pick. I think Froggy already realizes now, I'm never going to get punished by Nisqy here.
No, going to be very difficult to do so. I'm intrigued to see the tempo of this game. BelVeth, one of those champions that can thrive in prolonged team fights, that wants to fan up those stacks, ideally stay in that ultimate form. But the question is, will you stay alive long enough to do so? There's a lot of hard engaging CC already on the side. Saigon Buffalo, they're going to ban away the Camille, ban away the Seraphine. How do Mad Lions close this composition out now?
You know, the curveball I want to see from them is the fact that you'll have to counter pick on support instead. If you really want to take charge in a lane when you can't really do it on the other sides, lock in the Tristana. Play on the long range against the Kaiser. Smack her head level 2 and just jump on her, get a beneficial counter matchup. Or you go for the Misfortune as well. You give yourself what you tools to fight with in the team fights. Even Silver as well with extra speed up to fight against the hecarim, but also give BelVeth more sticking power. I think they have decently good tools to play around with.
What will they elect to go for? A couple seconds left here. Nautilus as well, the Kalista with the last 2 bans, biding their time to round out this composition. And I don't know how Mad Lions want to approach this. The thing I like about Game 1 and Game 2, Game 1, Saigon Buffalo were all about that bottom lane. Caitlyn Morgana, they got an advantage it wasn't enough. This time around,
that's the surprise.
there's a pivot. Going to be that Varus, Chain of Corruption, get that CC, lock people in place. Can combo well, but quite difficult to pull off.
Yeah, and also difficult to play up against backline dive. You're very immobile AD carry. It might even be to the point where they have to go Tahm Kench to stabilize it, or Braum as well, depending on what actually comes out here. Obviously, you can play aggressive with it. If they lock in Rakan, Leona is a really good matchup into that. You can lock him down, and it's not going to be a problem. This could be really a good adaptation, though, because if this Shen goes support, then you can't go for that aggressive option that I just mentioned.
You have to assume that is support, though, right? Combination. I mean, think about this combination now. When you consider, if BelVeth jumps at any target, if somebody in the backline gets surprised and shut down, that's fantastic. And then the combination, the Nautilus plus, hecarim plus Shen engages are so powerful. What is the final answer here?
So in my head, I was like, okay, Mad Lions, they're most certainly looking for Leona, and I think that's the read Saigon had as well. That's why they locked in Shen, because the Shen W makes it so that Leona can't stop with a Q.
Yes.
Then on the other side, Nautilus has been banned as well by Mad Lions, so we go back to my initial point. Now they have to pivot to a Tahm Kench.
Okay, I can understand entirely the look of the Saigon Buffalo composition. They've got a lot of tools to go forward. They've got a lot of tools for burst. How on earth is this Mad Lions composition going to work and play together?
I mean, it's just about getting lane priority. If you can move around for Elyoya, make sure he gets set up for success, that's really what you're looking for. If you're ahead of the curve, it's going to look good. And I think what's good for Mad Lions in this game that they didn't have last game is the fact that the laners of Saigon Buffaloes are not looking to take charge in the kind of win lane, win game fashion we saw in the earlier game.
Yes.
And that definitely gives you more tools to play around with it. But then again, on the other side of Saigon, if they get ahead of the curve and they start invading Elyoya, his game is over.
I have this feeling that if Saigon Buffalo make this composition work, if they do not fall prey to BelVeth, I don't know if Mad Lions have any other shots left in the revolver. Have Saigon Buffaloes downloaded? Have they figured out the Mad Lions? We're going to find out now as we load up onto Game 3. Both teams need to pick up 2 more wins to win the series and to advance to face Evil Geniuses for that final shot at groups. And as we so often feel and say and watch, it's going to be Elyoya as well as Nisqy having a huge impact on how this game plays out.
Now, Elyoya is one of the best, if not the best jungler in Europe. So having him on a champion like BelVeth is definitely a side that you can feel more comfortable with. But then you see the bigger picture, and then that confidence kind of decreases a little bit. I think going inside this game, Saigon Buffalo, they're feeling good. I'd feel good if I was them.
I'm going to absolutely love this composition. Let's hit Summoner's Rift for Game 3 between Saigon Buffalo and the Mad Lions. And in Game 3, our featured matchup is presented by Mercedes-Benz.
The fans love that.
That's it. Take a look at this now, as we'll need to keep track of, well, frankly, I'm just so much more excited when I see the Saigon Buffalo composition and how it can play out. And I am very intrigued to see both Armut and Nisqy making this Gnar and Vex work as we keep an eye on the early stages of the game. BeanJ and Elyoya, I think, going to be very important to track, especially with BelVeth in the jungle.
Yeah, so also worth noting is that with the lethal tempo on Unforgiven, we're not really looking for any of the AP shenanigans that you would usually see with Halo Blades. So he's definitely going down the AD route here, maybe on hit. Blade of the Rune King could be a shout as well with the way that our team has been so prevalent in newer patches. And now actually Mad Lions, they're going to go back to a classic for them. They're going to go for a late invade with a sweep as well. And this is good for setting up Elyoya in the beginning, starting him off ahead of the enemy jungler at least.
Gonna need that. You really want to accelerate, pick up that pace. Rift Herald's gonna be very crucial to track as well. But we'll need to watch how and where respective players move around the map. Hasmed this time round, third champion in 3 games against Armut. Running into the Gnar. Game 1 wasn't able to get advantage with that Gwen. Game 2, he really ran away with it on the Vayne. And this time around, we'll now be sitting on the lillia as Elyoya already starting to move into the mid lane. Froggy is going to use that glacial path to safety, and it's good.
Yeah, but I like the timing though. So what Elyoya is going to do is he's saying, I split the map, so I'm going to move up to my top side so you can't fight for the red buff. Kaiser getting aggressive, might find a stun here on Taki.
Can he find it? Can he find it? The auto attack is blocked by Shogun. Tongue Lash does connect. All of a sudden, the Hail Varus forces out the flash, and Ignite is starting to burn down. Taki survives, but loses the flash.
That's the second time in a row on the Tahm Kench that Kaiser has been really good at finding an advantage in the laning phase.
At level 1, as soon as he stacks up the ability to find that CC. Now on the bottom lane, BeanJ is making his way down. Elyoya is trying to float there too. Devastating charge is primed. Kaiser's going to flash away, take some damage. The Void Seeker will slow at least and put some damage down. Unforgiven continues to step forward. Here comes Elyoya, surging forward, landing those autos below 100 first blood with the Abyssal Dive. Kaiser's outside the range of the tower, but he gets chunked down by the Rampage. BeanJ fancies himself a shot, steps forward. Another Q into the face of Unforgiven. Up in the top lane, Hasmed flashes for it. Gets the flash alarm and no kill just yet. Down in the bottom lane, there's a kill secured on the Shogun. Elyoya and Unforgiven closes out. 3 for 1 at 3 minutes.
Such a skirmish, could have gone either way, but that's the nature of our two teams. They're not willing to back down. They want to one-up each other. This time around, though, it just goes so that it favors Mad Lions.
What a start to the game. 1-0-2 for Unforgiven. And that invade from Elyoya started on the red buff of BeanJ. Then he moved up, made it all the way down to the bottom lane. Look at your minimap. Elyoya is going to be here just in time.
And that's the path thing I actually want to talk about, because Elyoya kind of tricked the enemy. He walked through mid lane up towards the red side and then immediately beeline down towards the bot side. Because BeanJ saw him move up towards the top side at first, he was just like, I can go bot lane for free. But this is where the ingenuity of Elyoya comes to play.
Very nicely done. You mentioned it. One of, arguably to some, the best jungler in Europe. That created problem. We saw him walk across mid lane. And he doubles back, loops back.
That's a good flash.
Playing into the hands of SAIGON Buffalo. Flashes were fantastic, and now Elyoya, backed up by Kaiser, will slash and lick their way to killing Taki for the second time. BelVeth has 100% kill participation at 2-0-2 at 4 minutes.
He's just so good at this champion, but it's also such a credit to the team. You have junglers that are used to just play for the lanes, and then you have junglers where the lanes are used to play for them. Graves comes to mind. BelVeth, also one of the champions. So the fact that Taki gets caught off guard there, I mean, it must have been great tracking from the side of Mad Lions. And SAIGON Buffalo, they need to stabilize a bit, because they can't allow Elyoya to get ahead here. They have the tools to shut him down, but if he's too ahead of the curve, they're not going to have it at the right time. No flash on Hasmed, remember.
No flash for Armut, and BeanJ is going to be far too late. Elyoya is looking for that Void Surge, and will easily secure another kill. 3-0-2. This BelVeth is ahead of the curve, Goldblog.
They make it look so simple. He just walks around. It's not like anything crazy is happening. It's just, well, no flash on top lane. I'm just walking up here.
I think for that kill, I definitely think we shouldn't underplay that invade into double back, right?
Yes.
I would need to watch that back.
The first play is genius.
Just Giga
Afterwards that, he's just pathing up towards top lane and finding kills.
Does Giga Brain work? Can I say that? Does that make sense?
I mean, go for it. Giga Chat, Giga Brain, whatever it is, he'll own up to it.
Well, Mad Lions right now, plus 1,500 gold, 5 kills to 1. And we've seen the game played on both the bottom and the top lane. Froggy and Nisqy continue to just trade back and forth. Froggy's got a plus 10 CS advantage over Nisqy's Vex. And the Mad Lions stepping forward. That piercing arrow gets channeled up and will tag down Shogun. And once again, firing out that hail of arrows, just stepping forward as much as he can. Shogun and Taki under a lot of pressure because they've conceded those decks.
Now, I'm a bot lane connoisseur, but I haven't seen Varus in a while. But the more I look at this matchup with Varus into Kaiser, the fact that you're able to abuse the fact you have longer auto attack range, you stack up your passive, and then you use your abilities to force her away from the minion wave, you can clearly see what the intention was for Unforgiven, but picking this lane. And I think even stabilizing with the Tahm Kench, it's worked out wonders for them.
Something else to consider is the relatively short range of the rest of the Saigon Buffalos. You know, lillia, hecarim, lissandra, Shen. If they all group up for the engages, that chain of corruption can be hugely influential. Assuming we get to those team fights, it does mean it's at the cost or the risk of that low mobility. Kaiser did look to try push in that minion wave just a little, takes a turret shot for his troubles as Shogun returns to the lane with that Blight equivalent.
Now, how quickly do you want to start up with the neutral objectives? You want to stack up that deadly lavender.
Oh, Onslaught of Shadows forward. Void Surge 1 and 2 locked in place by that Glacial Tomb. First blood for the mid lane there. Correction, Froggy picking it up. And now all of a sudden, they're chasing. 4 members of the Buffalos now chasing out. Flashing Cleanse is still available for Unforgiven. He's holding on to it and will get over the wall. As Taki is unable to land the taunt. Now in the top lane, Armut fancies himself a shot, fighting into the minion wave. Hasmed will find the sleep. The minions aren't going to do it just yet. The auto and the boomerang is sidestep. One more auto is all it needs. No flash available. Swirl Sleeve will apply the slow. And Hasmed escapes.
Hasmed with the movement, dodges out on the boomerang. Armut could have picked up a kill there, but Hasmed had his book there and gets away with it. But to go back to the play just before, this is the lockdown that the Saigon Buffalo composition have against Elyoya.
Elyoya, how far does he chase? He gets caught up by that swirl seed, and Hasmed's going to be able to just prance away to safety. Armut and Hasmed trading blow for blow. Game 1, Armut's way. Game 2, Hasmed's way. This one, no one yet able to stamp authority, and that Endless Banquet has now become unlocked. Taki's here to back up Elyoya. The minion wave is crashing in. Go ball.
They don't have the intel that Taki is there. They'll now spot at least the fact that Elyoya is around the corner, but I'm not sure he's anticipating the Shen.
Well, the engages come out. Elyoya forced to dash to safety.
That's a big knockup.
That flash, massive knockup from Kaiser. Nisqy's jumping forward. No ultimate available to him as here comes Armut. He can flash if he needs to. Another kill secured, this time in Nisqy's hand.
Yeah, and even better, that's going to be a free Rift Herald. Remember, when BelVeth picks up the Eye of the Herald, or at least picks up the passive from it, she starts spawning a Voidling army in the minion waves. It's so easy to accelerate games with a BelVeth, which is why picking up the first Herald and the second Herald is so crucial to make this pick work.
100% kill participation. The timing of that 1v1 between Armut and Hasmed could not have been better. We didn't watch the setup, but the fact that Armut was able to push Hasmed back as the Rift Herald spawned at 8 minutes to unlock the roam for Nisqy, the game plan was very clear, and it has netted yet another advantage as Elyoya is stepping forward in the ultimate form. Gnar into the wall, knock up from above and beyond, and another easy kill, 4th one of the game. BeanJ's now stepping forward and will try to rampage his way to safety. Do they fancy another fight? Not just yet, not under the tower, not with Taki coming.
No, he's coming around there. That's the Onslaught of Shadows. Picks up the first one.
So much more burst than I was expecting. Elyoya's running away for his life.
Most certainly is. TP's coming in through Nisqy as well. He does have the ultimate available if he's looking for a snipe. But now he's going to back off.
Did not expect that damage from the devastating charge Onslaught Rampage, and they managed to pick up the kill. So Elyoya still 4-1-3.
Yeah, but it's good movement as well from Taki. But what can they get on the bot side now instead, seeing as his AD carry have left alone? But now Shogun is just going to back away, and that would be the right call to do. But I so love the math movement coming out from Saigon Buffalo. They are ahead of making the moves every time.
And now on the flip side, with this Varus into Kaisa that you talked about, using those skills to push, the fact that Taki's not in lane either, it is currently a 12 CS advantage. A second plate here is about to be secured. Mad Lions extend that gold lead by 4,000. And we're at a kill a minute as Mad Lions taking over the early game. Both teams just trading control of who's in charge of the game. And Nisqy with Elyoya making their way down bottom.
Good movement. Remember, no hecarim ultimate available, so they see the engage.
And Shadow Surge comes out. BeanJ's running low. Elyoya's trying to use those surges back and forth. The Killer Instinct will reposition Shogun, and Nisqy has bitten off more than he can chew. Elyoya still has that flash available. Chain of Corruption's already been used. Blooming Blows into Blooming Blows. The Abyssal Dive will get Kaiser out to safety for now, and in a 4v3, Armut still got the teleport available. Unforgiven's got no more mana. The piercing arrow didn't find the kill, and those blooming blows are doing so much work. That is a dead Unforgiven, and the kill is donated to Shogun.
Great TP counter response came through from Hasmed as soon as saw the player come down, and with good vision control as well, that gave SAIGON the intel to move around with. They can now pick up the kills, pick up the dragon. They're losing out on a few plates on the top side, but all in all, you shut down Mad Lions, who was in a huge gold lead.
I mean, it's going to be still a deficit. It is still significant, 3,000, but more importantly, I think to zoom out, and Global, talk about the fact that Mad Lions as a team, I think Lyric on the disc said that they wouldn't be able to place in the VCS with the LPL. They like to go all in, they like to fight. They started that invade, they started that fight, they got punished, but Elyoya's going to pick up a lot of plates in the tower.
That's a guy right now saying that I don't care about my laners, I'm going to be the one 1v9ing this game, picks up solo first gold by himself.
1,400 gold in the lead, Armut's looking for Hasmed.
Definitely is still. No CC connecting, and Hasmed, he can keep going with the movement speed.
Yep, picking it up. Lillia is doing very well. Mini Nars are available, waiting for that hop. Couple seconds left to go. The hyper's up. 300 hit points. Hasmed, blooming blow. Bonk, swirl seed. One more blooming blow, maybe all be needed. And Hasmed gets the solo kill.
And there you have it. Hasmed in these two games has really had Armut's number in terms of finding the kills. First on the Bane, now on the Lillia. And the Armut not working out.
No, it's not. It's going to be Lillia and the team play of SAIGON to try and slow down and shut down Elyoya. Now, let's not forget the fact it's still a 4,000 gold lead. Is the same statement true for this composition as the previous? That win lane, win game for Mad? Is this enough of an advantage?
I wouldn't say so, because that in this game it's so different in terms of how they function, because of how the CC is applied as well on the guy with the biggest gold lead. Like, majority of your gold lead is on Elyoya. He's very easy to shut down with the CC that you have applicable. But also just, and I ask you just, when we're watching this game, does it really feel like Mad Lions in a 4K gold lead?
No, it doesn't feel that way. Primarily because of that 4K. Nearly 2,000 is in the jungle. So when the laners are trading back and forth, they're about even. We saw the gold on screen just a minute ago.
It's a really good pickup there.
As it stands, Gorborg, Mythic picked up here for both BeanJ and Shogun, as well as Nisqy. So waiting for the rest of the players to start picking up that itemization. And we have to just track, how does Elyoya position, how well does he get set up? Because there is a fair amount of CC, but it's, I think, a lot more difficult to land. The Gnar, the Fear coming out of Vex, you know, Chain of Corruption, the knockup, they can work. But in contrast to Onslaught of Shadows, plus the Swirl Seed and the Sleep, I think it's a lot easier to apply that crowd control. The point and click lissandra in the middle lane from SAIGON Buffalo.
You know what? I'd agree with that statement.
I'm so glad. That's next level, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But I also think a lot of it goes down to how SAIGON has been able to use these tools so far. Because despite that they're losing out, you can even see now they're trading halves of the map. Not in terms of their own blue side and red side, but in terms of just like riding it down the mid lane with that line. I take the top side, you take the bot side. This is how we're going to play the game now.
Let's also find out how Taki's Stand United begins to influence this game. If Elyoya is trying to set up a play, the combination of that Stand United while backed up by the Shadow Dash, and then you go, you know, hecarim or even Kaiser engaging, there's a lot of tools and ways in which they can get to Nisqy, get to Unforgiven. If you deal with one of those options, well, then you can just focus Elyoya in a numbers advantage. And right now, BeanJ's there. I am tracking to see what happens in the middle lane. It looks like Elyoya's catching that wave as Mad Lions are on a recall.
And while most people will obviously look at Shen and think to, well, it's going to be Stand United to really make sure we can save teammates. The best one to really have is the offensive one, where you can set it up. You can be in the bot lane, help out your AD carry, and then all of a sudden be on the top side to just assist with a tempo play.
Well, listen, look at the minimap here. 15 minutes in, Mad Lions recalled back, picked up a couple more items. With Riftheld on its way soon, starting to make their way into the river. And you can see top lane was pushed in, so Armut's catching their wave. Thank you, observers. Highlighting the minimap. BeanJ, does he come in from behind? Does he want this fight? I think he does. I think he does. But will it be too late? Elyoya is using that Void Search to move around the middle lane. Here comes BeanJ, lining up the Onslaught of Shadows and holds onto the trigger.
Yeah, they do. Mad Lions still only 4 members in the mid lane. Armut was on the top side, clearing up the waves. Now he's coming through with a teleport, and they can go on Hasmed here.
This is in the river. This is in the river. Hasmed's going forward, looking for the blooming. Is going to put everyone to sleep with that lilting lullaby. At least 2 members. That's locking in place onto Elyoya. Glacial Tomb won't be enough to kill him just yet. Elyoya gets the kill onto BeanJ. Saigon were disrupted in dealing damage.
And that's the second time in a row this happens right before you want to go for the second Rift Herald. They can open up the mid lane. They can beeline up towards that top side where they can pick up the Herald for themselves and further extend the lead with the Rift Herald coming through from Elyoya and the passive he gets from it.
Mad Lions 5,000 gold up. It is still 100% kill participation. That BelVeth that was in the first rotation of picks, Mad Lions is absolutely in control. And I know we've talked so much about the crowd control and the team. So if we get a replay of this, break down for me why or how Saigon were pushed away to prevent them actually killing Elyoya, because like it looked to me like they could have, but
I was really looking for it as well, yeah. And I'm glad you want to highlight it too, because I do as well. Initially, it's a good disengage lead coming out from Hasmed, right? Flashes in, kind of reminds you of a speaker. This time around, though, Cleanse is available for Unforgiven. This is the big one. Elyoya gets knocked in twice through CC from Froggy, but the follow-up is only there once the CC has been applied, and they're not able to layer it. Because they're not able to layer it, well, they're just sending BeanJ into his own death afterwards.
Well, that allows Elyoya to pick up yet more kills. Managed to get that chem tank as well, so another tool to enable him moving forward.
Look at the bot lane wave currently being pushed in here, so they get mid lane priority. They can move down towards the bot side. Nisqy is escorting in a wave. They still have the Rift Herald available, and they can pick up more gold with the Voidlings coming through as well.
I'd like you to keep an eye on the minimap for me, Goldborg. Let's look at how Saigon Buffalo fend off this pressure. I have felt as though Mad Lions' warding for the last 5 or so minutes has been pretty solid. They've had deep wards. You can see the observers highlighting it inside the jungle of Saigon Buffalo. Led by Mad Lions.
Dramatic.
Will just get caught out. And I mean, that is obliteration on hit points. Face checking into a jungle that's not yours. The bottom lane was just being pushed by Mad Lions. The root from the chain of corruption. Froggy's going to self-cast the ult. The damage is going to come out.
And it's certainly not going to be enough. Froggy gets out of there. Shogun gets in!
Oh, the Acathian rain! Shogun making the play, but at what cost? All of the surges being used. A flash forward from Unforgiven. Armut pulling Hasmed and Froggy away. Elyoya is now looking for more. That banquet is endless and he is hungry. Froggy goes down as Unforgiven and picks up the kill. The Rift Herald is going to do so much work. This is the second Herald and it's going to be able to get another charge off.
In Game 2, bot lane inhibitor was broken open at 17 minutes into the game. In Game 3, 18 minutes of standing, but Rift Herald goes down and Mad Lions, they're going to keep the inhibitor up as well at the same time. I think that's the correct choice, but overextension starts out by Saigon Buffalo. Afterwards, it becomes a turret defense. And while it's a great pickup from Shogun initially, once the rest of the team fight plays out, Mad Lions still has the lead.
And I mean, don't forget that, what's it, BeanJ, that face checked, you know, into that red buff, into the darkness. We just saw the bottom lane being pushed by Nisqy, and it was a decision that was punished. And now BeanJ and Taki stepping forward once more. No ways. Do they fancy another engage? Kaiser will just spot them out, and we're playing for Hextech Rift.
Hextech Drake up and available. Now, I think you want to look for the resets, but this is the big one you're talking about. Like, look at the pink wards as well. You're not allowed to walk in here. You can't get this vision. At best, you have the Raptor ward, and you have the ward next to the Cisco bush. Outside of that, it's not really available. Sorry, I don't know what to call it. There was a flag there. It's the Cisco bush.
That's awesome.
Give me a raise for the marketing as well at the same time.
Awesome. There we go. We'll let the producers know. 21 days of epicness, and it is followed on day 5 right now. I mean, this team fight, I gotta give some credit here to Shogun.
Shogun's amazing.
He saw the opportunity and took it. Ultimately, Mad Lions had more tools. Also so far ahead that he gets punished again, because it is still an over-aggressive move, right? Because the rest of the team stuck with it.
This is what I found so funny, because Elyoya didn't want to go into combat and potentially lose out on the Rift Herald. He used it before going into the fight. Armut goes down to taking a tower shot too much, but outside of that, they're still super happy about the situation. And gold lead now, 8k in the lead of Mad Lions.
Still
Saigon looking to play defense in their own jungle, but they can't really do it.
It's still 100% kill participation. That single champion is taking over, especially look, 1-3-3, 1-1-3, 2-1-3, 1-2. If it's not Elyoya, it is not happening. He truly is the Mufasa of this prize.
You know what? It's really curious to me. This is the first time I actually see the chem tank coming through for the BelVeth. Usually we see a frozen fist be the one just to stick on your targets. This time around, though, I think it realizes that he needs something to bridge the gap between the champions that have so much movement speed, like the Lillia, like the Kaiser. Baron has been started off. Mad Lions have lost here before with a BelVeth.
They are not sticking to it now. They have peeled. In terms of initiation, Armut is in Mega Gnar. Great vision. Obviously the boulder toss. Tagging on to Taki.
Curious to see that Change of Corruption still up and available. If Unforgiven wants to look.
Glacial Path wasn't followed. Chain of Corruption starts to spread. 1, 2 members locked in place. 2 members dead. Unforgiven deletes the pony and the horse. And now Froggy is going to fall. Popped. Triple kill for Unforgiven. That should be the Baron.
It's just as simple as that. SAIGON walks 5 members into the Valley of Death in the mid lane. Only 2 makes it out. And now Baron on the cards for Mad Lions. Unforgiven makes it look easy with 1 Chains of Corruption.
Oh, really nicely done. SAIGON, I think the right idea, push that mid wave, try to pull Mad Lions towards you, threaten that tower. SAIGON Buffaloes have not taken a single tower as of yet, by the way, and now Mad Lions will pick up the Baron. They have absolute control of this game, and it is their third to lose.
Yeah, I was surprised the Chains of Corruption didn't come out earlier, because Taki was really overextending himself as well, but it's the CC chain. It's coming through. You get the fear as well from Nisqy. You have the knock-up from Elyoya. There's the same kind of CC that can be applied that SAIGON has, but when you're ahead, it's so much easier for Mad Lions to apply it.
That's the second time in about 4 minutes that I think the Buffaloes have been overconfident or ignored the darkness. You know, they got caught in the red buff stepping forward. They're in the river. They knew Mad One Baron, and I understand you have to check. But they've got to be a little bit more careful, figure out a different answer of stepping into the darkness.
And let's be real, we're 22 minutes into the game in just a bit. We have an 11k gold lead from Mad Lions. It's hard to keep a focus on SAIGON here because they're playing so much on the back foot at this point in times. They have the tools where they have the CC we've been talking about the entire time, and this is really all they can do. But if they take a full-on 5 versus 5, they will just lose to Mad Lions.
Yeah, and that's why you have to be so careful of that darkness. So even if you stand toe-to-toe, even if you step into the darkness, like, the night is dark and full of shadows. SAIGON Buffalo rooted up in place. That's the engage. It's not 5v5, it's 4v4. Kaiser escapes with his life. Teleport's coming in from behind, but will the fight be over already? Mad Lions going forward. Nisqy surges with the shadows. Froggy is running for his life, and he will not be able to escape just yet. Armut's looking to run him down. Hasmed's trying to run interference. Swirl Seed comes out. The boulder toss is sidestepped. The rest of Mad Lions are inside the base.
They most certainly are, but they're still looking for a fight here for some reason. They're looking for it.
Armut escapes for now. Kaiser goes golden. Killer instinct from Shogun. He finds himself just 1, and Hasmed's the last man standing. The Pride of Lions are inside the base and looking for the Nexus.
Void Queen shuts down the Kaiser. They're ramping in towards the Nexus turret, and Mad Lions, they strike back in the 3rd game.
Elyoya takes down SAIGON with Mad Lions at his back. With the Nexus falling, Mad Lions go 2-1 up over the SAIGON Buffaloes. It is over just yet. Will it happen? Yes, it does. 2-1, Mad Lions.
And it's a good way to come out with a victory here, because after that 2nd game, it felt like Mad Lions had gotten their comfort, and they had just straight up lost to SAIGON. It looked like SAIGON had figured them out.